All right, we're going to get right into it. I'm going to drop this right here, and I'm going to let you do with it what you may, right? But what I want to know is what actually happened to the journalists, the folks that are out there that are supposed to be giving you the unbiased news and trying to help you along with what's going on, right? I did a video yesterday. I'm talking about June 14th. Y'all have 3 more days to get your preps in order in case you're worried about this kind of stuff. Last night, they started catching Atlanta on fire, lots of drama there, and other cities are already breaking out. They're also doing a ICE protest, right, all around the country. There's one in our area on the 11th, as I posted in our community tab here on YouTube. So I just want you guys aware of this stuff so you guys can act accordingly, okay? When I drop this information right here, I want you to act accordingly as well. Try to protect your family, right? And share this information with your friends. This is a newscast from 2006 where they're openly telling you the truth.
Here's what scientists have found. Over 20 years, the percentage of seniors getting flu shots increased sharply from 15% to 65%. It stands to reason that flu deaths among the elderly should have taken a dramatic dip, making an X graph like this. Instead, flu deaths among the elderly continue to climb. It was hard to believe, so researchers at the National Institutes of Health set out to do a study adjusting for all kinds of factors that could be masking the true benefits of the shots. But no matter how they crunched the numbers, they got the same disappointing result. Flu shots had not reduced deaths among the elderly. It's not what health officials hoped to find. NIH wouldn't let us interview the study's lead author, so we went to Boston and found the only co-author not employed by NIH, Dr. Tom Reichert.
We realized that we had incendiary material.
Dr. Reichert says they thought their study would prove vaccinations had helped.
We were trying to do something mainstream, that's for sure.
Were you surprised?
Astonished.
Did you check the data a couple of times to make sure?
Well, even more than that, we've looked at other countries now, and the same is true.
That study, soon to be published, finds the same poor results in Australia, France, Canada, and the UK. And other new research stokes the idea that decades of promoting flu shots in seniors and the billions spent haven't had the desired result.
Pretty good, right? They are literally showing you the correlation between getting it and what happened, and it was absolutely unnecessary, okay? Now, I want to also show you this clip, the Follow the Money clip by Katie Couric. You remember her, Katie Couric? She was on the, what was it, the CBS morning show or whatever. You know, they ran a long time. Her and Matt Lauer had everyone's attention in America. This is what she said when she did a report about following the money.
For years now, parents have wondered if vaccines are linked to conditions like autism and ADD. Government officials and some scientists say there is no connection, and they're often backed by independent experts. But just how independent are they? You may be surprised at what Cheryl Atkinson found when she set out to follow the money.
They're some of the most trusted voices in the defense of vaccine safety. The American Academy of Pediatrics, Every Child by Two, and pediatrician Dr. Paul Offit. But CBS News has found these three have something more in common.
Polio number 2.
Strong financial ties to the industry whose products they promote and defend. The vaccine industry gives millions to the Academy of Pediatrics for conferences, grants, medical education classes, even help pay to build their headquarters. The totals are kept secret, but public documents reveal bits and pieces. $342,000 was given to the Academy by Wyeth, maker of the pneumococcal vaccine, for a community grant program. $433,000 was contributed to the Academy by Merck, the same year the Academy endorsed Merck's HPV vaccine. Another top donor, Sanofi Aventis, maker of 17 vaccines, and a new 5-in-1 combo shot just added to the childhood vaccine schedule last month. Every Child by Two, a group that promotes early immunization for all children, admits the group takes money from the vaccine industry too, but wouldn't tell us how much. A spokesman told us there are simply no conflicts to be unearthed. But guess who has been listed as the group's treasurers? An official from Wyeth and a paid advisor to big pharmaceutical clients. Then there's Dr. Paul Offit, perhaps the most widely quoted defender of vaccine safety. He's gone so far as to say babies can theoretically tolerate, quote, 10,000 vaccines at once. This is how Offit described himself in a previous interview.
I'm the chief of infectious diseases at Children's Hospital of Philadelphia and a professor of pediatrics at Penn's Medical School.
Dr. Offit was not willing to be interviewed on this subject, but like others in our investigation, he has strong industry ties. In fact, he's a vaccine industry insider. Dr. Offit holds a $1.5 million research chair at Children's Hospital funded by Merck. He holds the patent on an anti-diarrhea vaccine he developed with Merck, Rototec, which has prevented thousands of hospitalizations in the U.S. And future royalties for the vaccine were just sold for $182 million cash. Dr. Offit's share of vaccine profits, unknown. There's nothing illegal about the possible conflicts of interest, but as one member of Congress put it, money from the pharmaceutical industry can shape the practices of those who hold themselves out to be independent. The American Academy of Pediatrics, Every Child by Two, and Dr. Offit wouldn't agree to interviews, but all told us they're upfront about the money they receive, and it doesn't sway their opinions. Today's immunization schedule now calls for kids to get 55 doses of vaccines by age 6. Ideally, it makes for a healthier society, but critics worry that industry ties could impact the advice given to the public about all those vaccines.
Man, I love the internet because the information's everywhere. It's seek and ye shall find. Okay? Now I'm going to rewind the clock on Robert Kennedy a little bit. You could tell by his little young face here. But here's what Robert Kennedy said with his little young face.
We're not doing vaccinated versus unvaccinated studies because they're frightened of the results. If you did a vaccinated versus unvaccinated study, we know what's going to happen. The entire vaccine program would come into question.
Now here's what Robert Kennedy says with a little older face.
And I said to Fauci, I gave kind of a lecture showing what we knew. And I said to him in the middle of it, I had a PowerPoint. I said, Tony, you have said, and by the way, he's known my family forever. And, my uncle was chair of the health committee, writing his salary every year, everything else like that. So, and very cooperative relationship with him. The two of the centers that are NIH are named for members of my family, for Eunice Shriver and my aunt, my grandmother. So, I said to him, Tony, you've been telling people I'm a liar. When I say no vaccine has ever been, none of the mandated vaccines, what they call recommended, they're actually mandated in many of the states. I said none of them have ever been tested against in a placebo-controlled trial in a safety test prior to licensure. And I said, can you show me one vaccine that has been subject to a safety test? Show me one study that shows that. And he made it this show of looking through a red well. They had brought in from NIH this big tray full of file folders, and he made a show of kind of looking through that at the time, but he couldn't find whatever he was looking for. So then he said, it's back at NIH in Bethesda, and I'll send it to you. Well, he never did. So Aaron and I sued HHS and said, show us one study that's ever been done on, pre-licensing safety testing for vaccines. And after a year of stonewalling, they finally gave us a letter and said, we don't have any. So they literally don't have any. So nobody knows what the risk profile for these products are. So they're telling people they avert more harms than they cause. But there's no science behind that statement. It's just a guess.
Very interesting. Okay, so this information is just for your entertainment purposes, and what you do with it is up to you. If you care about the people in your circle, if you care about your family, then you'll share the heck out of this video, because people need to know this truth. Okay? And I don't know if you're paying attention to this or not, but the Trump administration here in 2025 is fast-tracking mRNA vaccines, and they have also done nothing to it on the schedule except take it away from healthy pregnant women and healthy children, whatever that means. If you go to the CDC website, if you go look up the information, you can clearly see that they're all still there. They are poisoning humanity, okay? And if you boil this all down, if you just take away all the takeaways, they only talk about population control. Let that sink in for a little bit. All right, I'm getting out in the garden right now. I got some other things going on around here. Dr. Leo was here. It's going to take me a minute to work on this video. I'll try to get that out to you. I just feel like this information, they're moving you from story to story to story so fast, you cannot actually focus on it. And if you're elderly, which many people are that watch our information here, you are going to want to think 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 20 times before you proceed with this thing you've been doing. Also, don't listen to the peer pressure. Okay, like a lot of people get a lot of peer pressure to do this, and that's what happened in the early parts of the COVID, right? Don't fall for the pressure. Okay, stay in prayer, stay spiritually fit, because there is something going on. There's something going on. I know there's something going on. Something going on.
The battle is being fought. One family, one physician, one health center. That's why we're doing as well as we are. We're talking about the minority and strategies against the minority. So I have the solution. Every study published in the last 5 years, when you look at vaccine refusers, I'm not talking about, hesitants, most of them we can talk into coming to terms, but refusers. We'll just get rid of all the whites in the United States, because Houston is the most diverse city in the entire United States. There's 7 Asian languages spoken in that city. I've been a minority for more than 20 years in the city of Houston. The majority is, we call Hispanic. That is not a race or an ethnicity, that is a political designation. But a lot of them are from Central, South America, Mexico. Guess who wants to get vaccinated the most? Immigrants.
That's what made Donald Trump's comment about bringing disease here so funny. They're at risk when they come here.
Immigrants.
Have better vaccination rates in Mexico.
It is the well-educated, in terms of pieces of paper that they put on their wall, people that have been here a long time, and it's very unfortunate. But I think we need not lose the big picture.